we've got a city attorney who's got a buddy, and his buddy's got in pockets with the telecom industry. This guy's named Kramer, and the city attorney hired Kramer to write our draft ordinance. So that's the background, right?
Well, let's give a little background on Kramer. Let's tell everybody what he was. He's an RF engineer. He wrote some booklet for the FCC back in 1997. The guy's carrying on about I don't know 300 extra pounds than he should. And here at sometime in his 50s, he decides to go get a mail-in order law degree. And he goes so far as to get a PhD. All right. So he like touts himself as this great attorney. I don't think the guy's ever seen the courtroom. And he sells services as objective advice for cities while owning a company that earns money processing wireless applications. And he goes on the web in October 2020. You can find the link on wirecalifornia.org. And he says, well, I consider ourselves part of the wireless industry. And we're here to help you get your applications approved. And he's giving objective advice to the city. It's ridiculous. So now that he's got Santa Barbara's guy captured, what are you going to say in your poem?
So let me add a little more background. They put a tower up in July, 700 feet from my home. So I'm a bit pissed, right? And I've been hammering the city almost every week about various topics, like this stuff's bad for the trees. This stuff's, they got little kids living on this block where they put it up already. And there's a bedroom right across the street from the antenna.
Like 50, 60 feet away, right?
Yeah, they're used to seeing me, right? So, but the day I gave another talk about the trees, and they actually did kill a tree. Crown Castle came out and trenched, and that was the thing that finally pushed the tree over the edge. But so at the beginning of that talk, they honored a local poet, and it was Poets Week or something. You know the way the city does, they honor everything once a week. So this poet got up and read a poem. So I felt that my talk was a little bit harsh. So at the beginning of it, I said, I'm sorry for the tone of this. Next week, I'll do a poem. And that's why I did this poem.
Right. All right, here we go. What is it?
Okay, here we go. For the Sake of the Children, the Trees, and the Bees by Ron Buckley. Once upon a time in a faraway city, the telecom ordinance was old. Oh, what a pity. The attorney said, I'll call my friend. He knows about telecoms from end to end. Now his friend smiled with dollar signs dancing in his head. He saw an opportunity to feather his bed. So you see, he works for the telecom too. No conflict of interest. That's what lawyers do. He delivers a draft with the teeth of a garden snake, reflecting its author. Oh my goodness sake. The citizens rumble and raise such a clatter, the council looks blank, wondering what's the matter. In the meantime, Crown Castle puts up towers like mad. Essential services, they claim, and there's money to be had. The tale is not over, but for the sake of the children, the trees, and the bees, somebody do something soon. Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please.
That was great, man. I think everybody should do something like that. I think everybody should start to doing poetry to their city councils. I think that's the way to go. I think they're going to look at you differently. I think they're going to be a little more receptive. So what happened was, for sure, you can tell right in the order. See, what happened was that the case we're talking about the Ketawa case. Okay, so this is case number 18-1129. That's it, 18-1129. And it's Ketawa et al. Versus the FCC. And this was decided in August 2019. So the FCC, in response to what the judges ruled, came out with a written order in October, which went in of 2019, went in the Federal Register in November, became effective December 5th of 2019. And that's how they got it done. What did they say in that order? They said, well, responsive to the ruling, we are mandated to erase our rule and delete all cross references back to that rule. And we did it. Then the next sentence is, well, for reasons for the APA, we don't think it's necessary to go get public comment on any of this. Really? And we are going to now go ahead and amend the definition. And we're going to write that same definition right back in. And we're going to stick it somewhere else in the rules. without ever doing a notice of proposed rulemaking, an invitation to the public to comment, build a record, write a real order, vote it through. I mean, we're only talking about establishing 800,000 additional cell towers. I mean, that's no big deal, right? Of course they have to do that. They just skirted it. Okay? So that's what they did. They didn't do an NPRM for reestablishing the definition of a small cell. They just went by groupthink. Oh, well, you're familiar with it already. Okay, great. Everybody knows what we're talking about. Oh, okay, we'll just stick it in under the door and just don't look. Well, unfortunately, we're talking about legal matters, and you have to have foundation for what you're talking about. The minute they erased that definition, well, then that shot clock thing was pointing back to the definition that's no longer there. Uh-oh. $270 per pole. For what? For a small cell. Cool. Where's the definition? It's gone. Well, if we just put it in over here, people will think it's the same one. They've already decided 5G can't work. Okay? In more ways than one. You have to understand. China's not going to continue building it. It takes too much energy to run it. They have already decided in China. Okay? So at the end of the day, it's a big energy hog. It's dumb as opposed to do this. It's much more efficient to have fewer cell towers that are larger, that are further away. They have already decided that the 28 gigahertz stuff doesn't work. They're not even trying to expand it anymore. They're doing it all in 3,500 megahertz. 3,500 megahertz can easily go on any macro tower right now as a co-location. Okay, so the whole thing is just about cheap real estate. It's completely unnecessary to be in the public rights of way because there's no reason. Oh, it only goes down the block 1,000 feet. That's all it goes. No, this is 3,500 megahertz now. It goes a long time. And that first claim was false anyway. So it's all a bunch of BS to try to get cheap real estate to build. And this is all speculation. This is Crown Castle grabbing every pole, putting up stuff, and hoping to get a tenant. That's it. So it's just using Bill Gates's $900 million investment to go build this as quickly as possible to have what? A 24/7 surveillance system. Did anybody hear the woman senator come out and say, is this really used for surveillance? What the hell?
A senator asking a question like that. Is it really to spy on people? Is it? Come on.
Come on. She was doing this just to try to get everybody off the scent. And you just sit there and you look at her and you go, yes, it is. And you know it is. And stop your bullshit. That really is what has to happen here. You have
it was used to discredit people.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's discrediting.
And the whole floor, the assembly floor, just
to the what was it, 378, the bulletin that you sent out yesterday. So I sat on the phone, listened to the lobbying. I'm not real familiar with the process. That's the first of 3 bills. That particular one happens to be done by my state senator, Lennon Gonzalez.
Oh, she's your senator.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to talk to her. You got to help me. You and I will go in and have a Zoom meeting with her.
Short history. No. She was chief of staff to city council person Robert Garcia, who became our mayor, who's, very popular now. He's one of the first out gay mayors, Latino, young, very sharp, but we knew him back when he was campaigning for you can tell the guy clearly has just nothing but power in mind. And a lot of people are saying he's really going for the lieutenant governor's position. I'm sure he's very power hungry and he has a lot of potential, very slick. So he moves on he gets elected mayor, city council person, and then he pulls up by bootstraps his chief of staff, Lena, and makes her city council person. She's there, I don't even think for a full term. And he pulls her up and makes her, she's been behind a number of land use bills, which are not real popular in the conservative side of Long Beach that we live in. We don't sympathize with them, but we understand that she's been very pro compromising land use elements here on this side of town to build much denser housing. I'm fully sympathetic with the housing challenge we have, but a lot of people have pointed to the fact that her husband happens to be a developer.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So there is that. And so anyway, all of that.
What does she feel about people who are not economically well off and they're getting left behind? Does she do a lot for those people or not really? Or
No, she does a fair amount. She does. And I think in most ways, their heart's in the right
I'm going to
place.
go over that a little bit right now. Okay.
Okay.
The committees essentially is almost like think about it like dating. Okay. And so you're going to give people the benefit of the doubt on the first few dates. You're not going to necessarily write them off completely and just say, that's it, I'm never talking to that person again. Maybe you say, well, I should be open-minded enough. I should like get a second chance to meet them, see what the second date goes. And it's better. Okay, maybe that's worth a third date, but I'm not really seriously thinking of dating you until I get to know you better, and then you're finally going to make a decision kind of when you get there. All right, now we're going to sleep together. Now things are going to happen. Okay. So that's kind of what these bills. All right. And what this is like high school. And so I'm bringing forward a bill. Will you please be polite to me? And will you please let my bill get through the first committee? Because if you don't, then you really hate me. And that's not good because I'm going to hate you and I'm going to vote down your bill. So everybody's going to kind of let the first bills get through the committees, right? Yeah. We're all kind of going along with it. Because everyone says like, oh, well, you're willing to work with everybody. Yes, I am. You're willing to take amendments. Yeah, yes, I am. And they do this all polite little thing. And so you have to understand that rarely do these committees vote something out. Okay, so don't worry about these. Rubber's going to meet the road in the next 6 weeks. It's what we do to convince every senator to vote these bills down, and we can win them in the Senate. There's no doubt. We had 45% of the vote last time out of the Senate. 45. We had 42% in the Assembly. If we did not achieve 45 and 42%, we would not have gotten the veto. It's close enough to say they don't have 2/3 majority. They're not going to vote my veto down. Now, I'm not counting on a veto out of Newsom. However, this guy's on the ropes. Okay. This guy is getting recalled. He's going to face an election. You going to go against the people when you're facing an election? I don't know. I'm thinking we show these votes are real close and we sit down and go, do you want to sign this and get voted on? I just described a story to you that might happen. You know what history is? It's whatever you do to make it happen. Give it a shot. Yep. What we can do with Lena is we can go and talk to her about, here's how you save your bill. We want your bill to go through. You're a new senator. You want your bill to succeed. Let's make it good for the people. Let's give them all access to fiber optic. That's how we do it. And so that's what we do. We make a slight change to the bill. Look, Crown Castle's not going to like this. They're not going to, you understand. We understand, but they still get to do their microtrenching. They still get to do their thing, but they have to build in access. That's the only fair thing to do. And by doing so, there will be fewer small cells. And by fewer small cells, your real estate values will stay high. Your husband will make more money. So you just tie it to everything she wants to do to succeed. And then we get this across. And boy, if we get this amendment in, this would be good.
I'm doing this for about 30 some years, and it's I'm always kind of in shock when I hear these people who are touted as these big name experts, and they really sell us short. They really don't know their stuff. They are sloppy, and I'm sorry to put it this way, or to be in any way a Debbie Downer or whatever, but with Paul right here, you've got the very best that you can get, because he has incorporated everything that they've done and cleaned up their mistakes and put it on his website, and it's in his mind. So you're going to get something far better from Paul than you could get from the combination of listening to all those people. And I will tell you one more thing that is very important, okay? I've been teaching people since 1997, how to go to their municipality or county or the state and how to be effective. when people, take my classes and so on, and then they go off, maybe for a few months or a year or just even for a few days, and they start looking at other websites like EHT and 5G Crisis and Physicians for Safe Tech and whatever. And then they present to me the documents that they want to either submit as letters, or these are going to be testimonies, or it's going to be the beginning of a lawsuit, or whatever it is. And they've just done everything that I told them not to do, and they've not done the things that I have told them to do. Okay? This is because they're being misled by those other websites. And at that point, I figure, here I am. I just spent maybe 4 hours with your group in one night and stayed up past midnight answering your questions. And now you come back to me having just forgotten everything I've taught you. This is why I actually don't recommend going to those people. For example, on 5G Crisis, you're going to see these swirling 3 quotes, right? At the bottom of the page, home page, right? If you use any one of those quotes, you're going to lose. Now, have Paul and I been friendly with these people and said, those are actually disadvantageous quotes and they're actually misleading and they're false in this regard or that? Of course. Since 2018, since they came
They don't listen. If it's not invented from them, they don't care. They're mostly about keeping their 501c3 going and raising the money, and they're not experts. They jumped in 2018. That's it. They're 4 people.
They don't know. They don't know the accuracy. They don't know what works legally either.
Right. Right.
Okay. And we've tried to help them, and we've given and given and given many countless hours to them. They just won't listen. And other websites are in sort of other positions. EHT is a site that was just said, like, when a new article comes up, it gets posted. When a new article comes up, it's posted. And so it's good. It's a good collection in that sense. But if anybody starts quoting from those articles, they're going to actually lose. Okay. So it's a good repository in a sense, but you can't quote from it.
Look, the problem is a lot of scientists pitch it as, oh, well, we need more research in order to really get the answer. And the answer, that's not true. This is established science. This has been going for a long time. Okay.
Right.
And you can't fall victim to their need to have more research dollars. It is time to get the policy in place because the science is done.
Here we come into a wildfire season in California. And that's where
Right.
I don't know where you're from, but I think that should get somebody's attention when he said 5G towers increase the number of terpenes that
Yes.
plants produce by over up to 100-fold, and it makes them like gasoline. It very well could have contributed to the last few conflagrations we've had in this state.
Yes, you're right. But do this for me though. Just learn one good thing right tonight. Stop talking about 5G and 4G. Just stop talking about it. This is just the marketing terms that everybody has different decisions about what it means and everything else, and it just confuses. Just say cell towers of any G create terpenes. Wireless telecommunications facilities of any size or any G does this bad thing. You see, you're lumping in with everything, and you don't sit there and go, because they always say this, oh, it's not 5G, it's 4G, so you're fine. And that's not true. Okay. So the point is, if you stay away from talking about those G's, then you don't fall into that trap.
I'm going to take off too, because it is getting very late here on the East Coast, but really pleasant to meet all of you. And thank you for all the beautiful things you're doing. Sorry to have had to contribute something that was relatively negative, but great work for all of you.
We have to have the legal footing to be saying
Hey,
that
chicken
kind
littles
thing.
of the world, if you do not come out with something strong right now, you are going to get rolled. I'm telling you that it is fine to brand the bill as child endangerment. I would say be very careful not to accuse a person of child endangerment. And it is not my goal to accuse people of child endangerment. It is my goal to brand this bill as the child endangerment bill. I think it's smart. I think it's on point. And I think we have a reason to do it. And here's the second reason. And when I went to San Francisco, I actually went to the appeal board and I asked them about what should happen next. They invited me to the Department of Public Health. Who runs that thing? Dr. Tomas Aragon. I'm there on October 22nd of 2019. I bring out in front of him Harry's child endangerment appeal. And I say to him, This is an appeal that is before the board right now. We're going to be talking about it again in November. I'm here informing you about the opinion of this attorney in this appeal. And you are a medical doctor and you have mandated reporting duties. I'm just informing you of your duties. I did that. Okay.
Cool.
That's in the record. Now, I also brought that into the record back into San Francisco 3 times. And who is he now? He's been promoted to the state of California. He is now the state of California health director. He's Mr. COVID-19 right now, who actually went into AB 537 and got another exemption. Hey, it's a 3rd exemption. It's the 3rd exemption of the firefighters being in the burning building and running out of the burning building, leaving the people in to burn. But if you do plain vanilla little puffy pieces of bread like the 5G crisis, you're getting nowhere. You're going to have to do something a lot more than that. I'm just telling you, there's stuff we can do. Is it all got some kind of risk? Yes, it does. Does it mean you shouldn't do it? No, not necessarily. You should consider everything and go, carefully. Oh, I'm scared of that one, and I'm scared of that one, and I'm scared of the other one. Well, welcome to your cell towers. You're not going to break through. So you got to do something. And so all I'm saying is talk it out, talk it with real evidence on the table. Don't run around with hearsay.
This is high level strategy. Every word counts, every expression counts, and the care for each other counts as well.
Right. Here's what I find. I find people don't have my back. Let them go in there, take all the errors. Are we behind them? Oh, we're going to stand back. Look the other way. They're happy for me to take the risk, but they don't stand in there with me. And that has to change. If you're going to win 3 times, I'm going tomorrow. Those who show up care. Period. The end.
Yes.
I'm telling you, for real. And so the question is, who else is coming? Who else is going to work it? It doesn't happen sitting in your couch. It doesn't happen emailing somebody. It happens when you actually engage and you demand to be seen. You demand to be first. These people are playing for keeps. And we got to do something to upend them. Now, look, what do we have going for us? We're a little bit nimble. We're a little bit smart. We got some good attorneys who help us out. So, I mean, it's not like we're without support completely. But you got to get together and figure out what you're going to do about it. And then you got to follow through on what you're going to do. Put people back in touch with the action page. Really, all the actions are there. There's no reason to walk away from the action page. Okay. Well, why are we bifurcating? Why are we trying to send people 5 different directions? We're going to battle again tomorrow. Okay. And all I wanted to do here was talk about some certain strategies that could possibly work for us, how we're going to do it. And we need to know who is reaching out to make sure that we have a lot of calls tomorrow. So right now, there are 2 speakers who have been selected to be the opposition speakers. Does anybody know who they are? I don't. So what's going on right now is that 378 and 556 are heading to the Appropriations Committee, either on the 17th or the 10th. That hasn't been decided yet. Tomorrow is the last stop for AB 537, and it's going to go to the Assembly Appropriations Committee. Probably similar timing, but I don't know exactly. So they're all going on their 3rd stop. Appropriations is a very different comment than it is for the other 2. The first 2, you have a lot more free reign of what to talk about. And the 3rd one, it all is financially focused. That's why it's perfect for Harry. He's talking about liability. Okay, and I think that we're going to talk about energy inefficiency with Johanna. So I think that's going to be, 2 really good financially focused ideas for the most important thing is for people to go to the comment form and tell me what's going on. What did you get done today? I've got a few people coming in telling me who they called and what's going on. That's really good because with that, we could build a record in the end. But if we don't have that, we're not directing people to do that. In fact, I told you to do this last week. And I don't think you did it yet, but boy, I hope you sure do it in the next email. This is important. It is important to have a record of what people are doing. Please put it in your email tonight for tomorrow. Where is that? It's right on the action page. Copy paste the first 2 lines.
Something that I can do is maybe
go door to door in my neighborhood or somewhere and inform people, give them leaflets, give them information, and let them know what's going on.
Okay,
And
that'd be good.
probably that way we can get some people to, come to the website and then contact you and see what's going on. And hopefully we can get some people who are really good at so many other things.
Okay.
And
Well,
that
get
way,
them,
yeah.
get them this. When you put on the form, put the join link on your form. It's wirecalifornia.org/join. Okay. And
Okay.
that way they have at least the next step. Even if they're not willing to read anything, they at least will get alerted by the next Zoom meeting or the next this or the next something else. And that's an opportunity for them to be in the hunt. I don't have a big old list that I maintain. And I don't go out to 1,400 people or 5,000 people or something like that. I look at every fight, if you will, as those that are willing to fight now. So I don't look at my list as, oh, you signed up 3 years ago, you're interested in this right now. I make everybody sign up again for the new fight, right? Because you never know what happens to people's lives. And so some people can't do any work and now you're bugging them for no reason. So I figured if you're interested, you'll fill out another form. That's the way I look at it.
And also another thing is that I'm fairly new in this and I don't have a lot of information, and it has to be like, I have to have some information, information that's like a fact, and I put it there. So for example, one of the things that I heard from you guys was that the emission of these small cell antennas is 25 million times stronger than SIT as being safe by the EPA.
Well, hold on. No. Just so you're clear, understand what it means. Okay. It's really important not to make claims of safety, because that's very debatable.
Okay.
And not tie it to anyone's approval of whatever it is. Meaning, oh, the FCC approves, the FDA approves. That's not meaningful either. What is meaningful is this. It's 25 million times higher than needed for 5 bars on a cell phone.
25 million times higher than what? I'm just writing.
Than for 5 bars on a cell phone. Everybody understands when you have 5 bars, you're fine. You can make whatever call you want. So all we need is the power for a 5 bars service. Well, this is 25 million times more than that. Why do we have that? That's completely unnecessary. That's the whole point. What we're doing is the beauty of a low base. We're making the comparison to a number that's actually low that is effective. It's enough for the phone call. Boom, done. Nothing else to say. Don't even talk about microwave radiation or the FCC or the FDA or anything else. None of it matters. The industry itself admits minus 85 dBm, 5 bars on a cell phone is good, sufficient coverage. We should have that amount of power and no more.
So you said, Paul, that we shouldn't mention about the health issues that it causes.
What I'm saying is that even though that can hook people, okay, It isn't necessarily the one you want to lead with when you talk about this bill. We talk about in terms of quiet enjoyment of streets. And we talk about it in terms of you put the things up and you'll not be able to sleep well again. So tangentially, it's a health issue, but it's an immediate effect that everybody talks about. And it happens as soon as they turn the tower on. You can't sleep at night. You get a headache. It's really annoying. This is the whole basis of nuisance laws. If you turn it into a nuisance, your town can do something with it. If you talk about it in terms of health effects, your town thinks it can do nothing about it. We need to preserve the quiet enjoyment streets by turning the power down. And that's much better than saying you can't come here or build here. You say, if you're going to come here, you're going to be nice and quiet, and we'll have enough for a phone call, but nothing more. Of course, what we want is broadband. Any network, whether it's wireless broadband or wireline broadband, is 95 to 99% wired. The only thing we're talking about is whether you're going to go the extra 1 to 3% with fiber. The only reason they're spraying it at you is so they can make more money. So in order to make more money, we're going to poison everybody and have crappier service? None of this makes any sense. Okay, and they have no preemption for it. So if you're thinking that wireless broadband is a good solution to any of this, you're completely wrong. All the horse work is done by the wired network. It gets you almost all the way there, and you're just stopping 2% short. This is idiocy. And we will solve that by getting access to the fiber that comes in front of our house. We're not going to let the wires company hoard it for their own reasons to actually extort us for more money.
So that's the amendment we want for 378 is we
That's
want
it.
we want access for public,
Access.
we want public access to the fiber they're putting in our public right of way.
There it is. Public benefit. If you're in the public right of way, better have public benefit. We're not letting you come in here just to have a private profit. No, 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 no. Public benefit.
Okay.
And when you do that, oh my God, we magically drop into Title II. What else does Title II give you? Just and reasonable pricing by law. Oh my goodness. Now it'll be cheaper because we can't actually go along with the wireless plan because the wireless plan's unregulated pricing and they'll soak you for all you want. That's another good reason to go to wire. Now you get a good price. You know, it don't have to be, you know, data capped and all this other crap the wireless company can do to you. They nickel and dime you every step of the way. So it is the solution for the people. And I like that. FTTP means two things. Fiber optic to the premises and freedom to the people. Terms that are established the very best we can to get to the end. Okay. The fact that freedom to the people has the same first letters, not so bad. Because freedom to the people leads to, then we have consumer choice. There are some homes that want to run a wireless router, and there are some homes that don't. We want to enable that consumer choice for both homes. Fiber optic to the premises means we are connecting the fiber optic directly to the business or the home. Got it. Boom. Done. Finished. That's what we need. Once we achieve that, we're good.
We have Cox here, and it's extremely expensive. And so that's part of the digital divide. People can't afford the Cox, which has the monopoly on. And so then.
Wonder how that happened. Do you know how that happened?
Well, we formed an agreement. Santa Barbara formed an agreement with Cox.
Well, beyond that, they went to the FCC. And they said, oh, well, we don't want to be part of that Title II thing. We want some special benefit. We want to be off to the side of that. So we don't have to have just and reasonable prices. We want to soak the people for all they can pay. And so they have their own special little title right there. I think it's Title 3 or 4 in all the rules for the Telecommunications Act. That's how they got it. They lobbied for it. So now we have the wires company saying, well, even though phone calls are part of Title II, we're going to pretend that we can do everything we want outside of that. And we're going to not have just and reasonable prices. And everyone's kind of just going along with it. But you really could actually look at your phone company and say, excuse me, you have to give me one price for phone calls, which is just and reasonable, and a different price for every other service, which you can charge as you wish. They really should be forced for two different prices. Okay. But people just go along with it. It's dumb. Okay. But when you have a wired service by your state telecommunications utility, that is solidly Title II. And that is absolutely just and reasonable pricing. That's it. We win when we make our public utility give us the damn fiber. Boom. How do we do it? Not a problem. Hi, we had Crown Castle bring this fiber down the street. They put it in at their expense. Now I'm going to get you to come out and do the little connection to my house. I'll have a nice little $30 a month plan with you. Thank you very much. Because it's not going to cost you very much to set me up because you're just going to tap the fiber that's already in front of the house. Boom. This is a real answer. But what we do is get some state bills to anoint them and say, great, you finished the digital divide. It's your job to get it done. And here's the money to get it done with. And we're going to steal it right back from the wires company. That's how we're going to get it.
Are you arguing this?
So the bottom line is this: a state public telecommunications utility is the one who has put all this wiring in place, and everyone's taking advantage of it, and they're not paying their fair share for the use of it. We get everybody to pay their fair share for the use of it, and then we give that company more money by not allowing cross subsidies. And they have what they need to actually close the digital divide. There will be no wireless needed, and we solve the problem. The lawsuit that they went to forward on in the DC circuit was for a particular thing, and they lost that lawsuit. But they did get a clarification from that lawsuit. From that clarification, Any party that wishes to, that has the desire, the money, and the will, could bring a lawsuit. But access to the fiber can be done with one amendment in 2 weeks with Lena Gonzalez? Ooh, opportunity. Let's do that. That's a lot shorter than a big old lawsuit. And can we encourage the state to give more attention to the state public utilities? Maybe we'll get that in there too. We have to point them back to things they kind of forgot were there, right? They don't think there is a separate landline company anymore. They think it's just all one big thing, but it's not. They are separate, wholly separate companies. One is regulated, one is not. We are much better getting our internet from that regulated company. That's what we want to push. You need broadband from your utility company, period, the end. We do not want broadband from these private companies. Thank you very much, but no. They have had the chance to close the digital divide for 2 decades, and they haven't done it, and your bill doesn't force them to do it, and they're not going to do it all over again, and we're going to stand here and be arguing about the same thing 5 years from now unless you stop being insane. Insane is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. These people have ripped you off for 25 years. You're going to let them do it again?